Is Danny Duffy actually a thing? Plus, we have some trade targets and the latest news next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5, a podcast that gets you caught up fast on the fantasy news and advice that you need to know. Follow and stream us on Spotify and anywhere else podcasts are found. Today is Tuesday, April 20th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Chris Towers. Danny Duffy, another really good start up against the Tampa Bay Rays. 6 innings, 2 runs, 0 earned, 8 strikeouts with 18 whiffs. 68% rostered. Chris, if he's available, is he a must-add, Danny Duffy?
I don't know if he's necessarily a must-add, but assuming like Trevor Rogers isn't there, and I think Yusei Kikuchi would still have ahead of him, and a couple of those other guys that we've talked a lot about the first couple of weeks of the season, you should probably find room for Danny Duffy. I would assume most of us have room for him. And, the big thing is his fastball velocity's up. In his previous start, it was up higher than it had been in, I think, 4 years. But even tonight, which was down to 93.5 miles per hour, that was his highest since August of 2018, not counting his previous start. So he's still, throwing harder than he has in a couple of years, and the early results at least are very promising.
Yep, the fastball velocity, which you mentioned, 93.8 miles per hour entering Monday's start, his highest since 2016 when Danny Duffy had a 3.51 ERA. For some reason, Jake Arrieta still rostered in 81% of leagues, Adam Wainwright in 75%, Marco Gonzalez in 74%. I think Gonzalez is going to be better, but I would drop all 3 of those pitchers for Danny Duffy. Chris, we spoke about some trade candidates on the full-length podcast, so give me one player that you're looking to buy right now and one player that you are looking to sell.
Yeah, I'll buy high on Kris Bryant, who had a lot of skeptics coming into the season. They would cite his, you and Scott, I was kind of on an island there, but, people would cite his underwhelming batted ball numbers over the, in 2020 in particular, and rising strikeout rate and all this stuff. But early on, at least, the results have been much better. His 366 xWOBA is his highest since 2017. He's hitting the ball harder. Hard hit rate is 43.2%. Average exit velocity is up to its highest since his rookie season. So there's just a lot of positive signs for Kris Bryant. And he's someone who has regularly outperformed his expected stats as well. So the fact that the expected stats are even better than they have been the last couple of seasons, to me, that's a very good sign.
And someone that you're looking to sell?
Ramon Laureano. His 8 stolen bases have been awesome. And the nice thing about selling him now is you just get those 8 stolen bases. They're just yours forever. And you can sell him to someone who thinks he might be like a 40 steal guy. I don't think that's going to happen. There was a piece on Baseball Prospectus earlier on Monday that really opened my eyes. It showed that 4 of the 8 stolen bases that Ramon Laureano has did not even generate a throw to attempt to catch him. So I'm not necessarily sure this early steal binge is super sustainable. So I would be looking to sell Ramon Laureano high, even if I do think he's like a 2020 guy.
And while we're talking about buying and sell candidates, Charlie Morton is one that I'm looking for. He has a 4.76 ERA thus far, so if anyone is nervous about his surface stats, definitely would be looking to acquire him. He has a 2.97 xFIP. His ground ball rate, swinging strike rate, fastball velocity, all back to the levels that they were back in 2019 when Charlie Morton was a top 10 starting pitcher for both roto and head-to-head points leagues. So again, if anyone sees that 4.76 ERA, definitely try to buy Charlie Morton based on that. And Justin Turner, don't just sell him for the sake of selling him, but this is a classic sell high. He is the number 3 hitter in points leagues right now. He's older. He's going to sit out a few games as the season progresses for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a great lineup, but if you picked him up as a bench bat or someone later on in your draft and you can get a top 10 player at another position, a top 30 starting pitcher, I would look to sell Justin Turner for somebody of that caliber right now. Some news and notes from Monday. We did have a few players land on the IL. Starling Marte will be placed on the 10-day IL after an MRI revealed a fractured rib. He will be reevaluated in 5 to 7 days, so hopefully that isn't a long-term injury for Marte. Dinelson Lamet will make his season debut for the Padres on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Ronald Acuna is considered day-to-day after an MRI revealed a mild abdominal strain. Chris, would you bench Ronald Acuna if you still had the ability to do so?
Yeah, in a deeper league, you probably can't get away from him. But if you're playing in like a 10 or 12 team league, I think it's okay to consider sitting him just because, maybe he only plays 3 out of the 6 games.
The Twins' latest round of COVID tests all came back negative, so it looks like their scheduled doubleheader with the A's on Tuesday will be good to go. Nick Castellanos' appeal for his 2-game suspension has been denied. He will miss Tuesday and Wednesday's game. Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Martin Maldonado, and Rabel Garcia are tentatively expected to rejoin the Astros on Tuesday in Colorado. Jose Altuve was not mentioned, so he likely needs more time. Last but not least, the Phillies are also dealing with a COVID situation of their own. 3 players, Jose Alvarado, Matt Moore, and Ronald Torreyes, were placed on the COVID IL. 5 coaches were also placed in the protocol as well. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.